Well, we have it. The first time in a long time we see the big baby live and direct on Harlem2MSG. Glad to have you back, buddy, and glad to have these Knicks back so we can talk about them because this has been an interesting past 6 weeks where this team has basically been the roller coaster that we didn't anticipate them being. But they are a definite point of discussion because even after today's game, um, it's still scary for me
As your mother.
watching watching this team play. The starters play a lot of minutes, man. A lot of heavy minutes. So it's one thing to be, you in the game, but they are actively being used on the offensive and the defensive side. Pressure, 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 and they are relied upon heavily, which is great for the immediate, but concerning for the long term. And the sad part is not a necessity. That's the sad part.
Yeah, I think things will change once they start getting people back.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I really do, because I don't think this is sustainable for the full year in the playoffs.
No, I think once especially once you get Robinson back,
Hmm.
that will because right
I,
now he's
I
playing.
think Robinson and Shamit, those are the two.
Well, I don't know whether Shaman is going to be used that much. I don't know. I mean, he's a really good shooter, obviously, but
Hmm.
I don't know whether he'll be used that much. But I do think Robinson. I think you'll see Robinson at the five and
Towns. Hmm.
Cat at the
Hmm.
four, and then you can have Precious coming off the bench and Hart coming off the bench and Deuce and Cam coming off the bench.
Hmm.
So that'll give you your 9-man rotation. And I guess if you have to use a 10th man, Shamit probably would be a 10th man.
Hmm.
That's what I'm thinking. Um, and I think because what you see him doing now, which makes a lot of sense, he's using Precious as the five and the four.
Hmm. Yeah, and I'm scared for him after playing a lot of time at the four. He's he's a great three. I don't see him as an effective four, especially when the fours are athletic and taller than him.
Ooh, Precious.
I thought you said OG. Sorry about that. You said Precious. I'm thinking OG. That's what it is.
Yeah, I think Precious. He's been using Precious at the four and the five. I
Yeah.
think
Hmm.
OG is better at the three.
Hmm. Yeah.
And hard is like hard. You can play hard
He,
anyway.
he's gonna he's gonna give you his heart. That's basically what he's gonna do.
Yeah, I mean you play him anyway. He's gonna do
Hmm.
5 minutes at the. He probably could play center if he had to,
If you let him, man.
and he probably would do pretty good too.
Knowing him, knowing him, man.
So I think they'll be all right. I still think they're not formidable enough to be Boston.
Yeah, they're not ready for prime time. Yeah.
No, not yet.
Mm-mm.
Um, but you know, the only Boston's the only team that really frightens me. I think Cleveland is playing with house money right now. I don't think they're going to be able to sustain.
Hmm.
They may wind up with a 2 seed.
Hmm.
You know, maybe even a 3 seed, but
Hmm.
I don't think they're going to be that team to really worry about when the playoff comes around.
Hmm. It's interesting when you look at the standings for the East, and right now the Knicks are between the 3 and the 7 spot. It's basically a 2.5 game difference. So right now, the teams that were stumbling at the onset, Miami and the Bucks, have basically just come back and put themselves into contention for a heavy middle standing in the East. So I'm kind of not surprised that they did that. I'm more surprised with Atlanta.
That
Um,
I don't, Atlanta doesn't phase me at all. You know, they're so easy to defend if you decide that you want to defend the three. They're not going to be. They're not going to do anything in the playoffs.
mhm,
The playoff team that I really would concern myself with,
mhm.
and the only reason that I think they may not do well is their coach, and that's Doc,
Milwaukee.
in Milwaukee. I mean, because
Everybody beating up on Doc.
he's just not a winning coach. I mean, he of course he has won, yeah, but I don't think, but I think right now they're winning in spite of him, not because of him,
Hmm.
or not even collaborating with him.
Hmm.
I don't see them doing anything,
Hmm.
but if they don't do anything, it will be because of him. He just, because clearly they have two superstars.
Right.
But I think they'll be okay if they can just get healthy.
Yeah, that's gonna be a test and a half, you know, because
They have problems with these teams that are like willy nilly. These teams that's running around and just shooting, and
hmm
like Detroit, um, Atlanta,
hmm
you know. But those teams that play that slow it down and don't like the only thing like Boston is one of those rare teams that can play both ways.
True.
They can run you to death, or they can slow it down and just play that slow half court game too.
Hmm.
You know, but if you slow Atlanta down, you beat them. You slow the Magic down, you beat them. You slow um, Miami down, you beat them.
Well, I will say this. I don't disagree with that. What I saw today was, from a defensive standpoint, was different than how they played Atlanta.
Yeah, they slowed them down,
Not just
and
that, but just from the point of attack, there was more
well,
engagement.
well,
There was more
they
engagement
picked them up.
from.
They picked them at the top of the key too.
Yeah, yeah, that's key, and that was from Bridges, and that's something that he had not. He was very lax in that Atlanta game, and from the very onset, you saw, you know, the point guard easily see where the lanes were, and you saw Bridges not really responding well to that, whether it was his speed, whether it was his height, or for whatever particular reason, he wasn't responding well. Now, granted, Suggs tonight is not as fast as, the point guard from Atlanta, but still he was able to put a little bit more a little bit more, use his length better against Suggs than he did against the point guard from Atlanta. Um, I was happy to see that,
Well,
but
but if you notice too,
mhm,
not only did they pick up at the top of the three line, but they also collapsed a lot
mhm, mhm,
in the middle.
mhm,
So when Suggs did, because like Suggs was 4 for 19 something,
mhm, yeah, mhm,
you know. So when he did get in there,
mhm,
they collapsed on him,
mhm.
you know.
And that was good game planning, because they don't, right now Atlanta doesn't have the shooters,
Exactly.
so that was great game planning for that. Now doing that against Atlanta is a different story, you know. So my hope is that they are more effective in executing that type of game plan against that team. So I didn't like the way they played them both in the last 2 games against Atlanta. They took them for granted the first game they played them, and then they didn't. play right. They took him to the shed in the second half of the second time they played him, which the other night, and I didn't like that at all, you know. But you know they played him three more times this year. That's crazy. I, the last time, this game that they just played him on the other night was due to the in seasons tournament, so that's different. But they played him five times this year, which is it's normal for they normally play for the five games for the division, but I guess because of the tournament they got him in a different fashion here. So interesting.
Yeah, so I just think that, you know, they are going to have to continue um that collapsing defense type
Hmm.
style.
Hmm.
They're gonna have to, you know. I mean, collapsing when you collapse on someone, it's great because I mean you can only call a foul on one person.
Like they did on Brunson, right? They were collapsing on him.
I
He was
think that
beating them up.
is
They
I
was
think that
beating them
is
up
such
today.
a I think that is such a stupid rule where you can look at the video and say, okay, he didn't hit
Hmm.
him, but he hit him.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a situation where they just the correct call was knocked out,
No, no
knocked out,
foul.
not no foul, knocked out by OG.
Yeah,
We'll just give Orlando the ball, not because there
right.
wasn't a foul impediment. There was no foul there. I mean, come on, that was a stupid reversal of that. You know.
But even if it was, I just think that is such a dumb. I mean, because if you think about it,
Hmm.
let's say for argument's sake, that is the beginning of the fourth quarter, and Brunson has five fouls.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now he's out the game.
Hmm. Yeah, that just didn't play well, sit well with me neither. How they officiated that play, but I think they was all looking to lead the arena at the point, moving forward. You know.
Well, I seen that in another game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, where they they said, "Oh, it wasn't a foul on him, but it was a foul on him." That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that part I don't like at all in any scenario. You know.
The rule should be you checking out one did this happen.
Hmm.
If that didn't, regardless of what anything else, because anything else that
Hmm.
happened, that
Hmm.
that you can't, you shouldn't say that matters
Went to the
because
left. Hmm.
it didn't happen.
Hmm.
Because
You didn't.
you talking
You didn't
about
that
this,
right. You didn't call that right.
right?
Hmm.
He called
Hmm.
this. Were you
Hmm.
right or wrong on this?
Hmm. They
Ridiculous.
use it as a foul was called, but it was called on the wrong person. Is what you're saying? No, that's not the case.
Because I also saw one situation where um a, a a blocking foul was called. The team challenged it. They won the challenge. There was no blocking foul, but they called a charge on the offensive player.
Mm,
Ridiculous.
mm-mm, no. So so right now we are sitting in the third position. As I mentioned, we were locked in between the 3 and 7 spot, and
So
the teams
Orlando
are
must be. So Orlando was four.
yeah after tonight. I mean, again, I mean this is we're not even at the mid-season point, so none of that really means anything toward the end of the day. But um, those, as I mentioned, those teams, Miami and Milwaukee have awakened, and they are now, in a better position for them to be able to move forward. The I was shocked that Milwaukee was able to make it to um again back to the finals for the no, they didn't make it to the final. They made it to the semifinals of the last year in the in-season tournament. This year they're in the finals, but I was shocked that they played well to be able to do that. Which for whatever reason that got them looking properly, which is going to be interesting when we play them. Um,
I don't think it's Doc. You know who else is on that bench, right?
Ooh, Ham?
Yep,
You think it's him? Interesting. Okay.
I do think it's him.
Hmm.
And I also think if they don't make well, they probably make the playoffs, but if they don't do well, I think Doc is out of there and he's gonna take
Well,
over.
yeah, that's a given, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that. But the key for me is the fact that they are refocused because we've been playing very well against Milwaukee over the past like 3 or 4 games, ending from last year to this year, and so I felt very confident by ability to be able to beat that team, and I want to see that continue. And what the biggest difference is that um, Brunson against Lillard, Brunson has won those battles, you know, and for whatever reason, um, Giannis has not won the battle against any of the Knicks from last year to this year. And I'm curious to see how Middleton is what impact he's gonna have in when the games that we play them. So I'll be interested to see that. You know, that's one thing. I have
Well,
no fear of Miami
none
at
at all.
all, none at all.
None at all.
I'm anxious to get up against Cleveland again because they beat us. I think it was the second game of the season, third game of the season. I didn't like that loss that we had against them, but it is what it is. But I'm looking forward to getting back at them. So definitely want to see that. But as far as any other team that concerns me, it's not too much at this point in time. Boston's gonna be Boston. We're gonna deal with Boston whenever we see them in and out of the playoffs. We when we play against Cleveland, all of them was like toward the last couple of months of the season. I think our last game was against Cleveland too. No, it's last home game was against Cleveland in April. So that'll be pretty interesting to see how they play, and that's gonna be pretty cool. But yeah, I'm anxious for the schedule to get going and seeing how we're gonna play the rest of this tournament, rest of these games out.
You
You
see, I'm
know,
anxious to see Towns at the four.
hmm think that's gonna be something.
I think, well, I mean, obviously the defense will be better down low.
Hmm.
But I think he's a tough check for most fours.
Hmm.
Only guys that don't have a problem with him will be someone like the kid in Milwaukee,
Hmm.
Giannis.
Hmm.
But everybody else, they can't deal with him.
Hmm.
He can shoot. He can drive past you. He's great at the four.
Right.
He's good at the five.
Hmm.
I mean, he's leading the league in rebounding.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What's he got like 50?
That turnaround from he can't be hard. That's fine. I guess I was bamboozled too. That
I,
I haven't liked Towns since he was in Kentucky. So
I love
isn't that.
him. I've always liked him.
Mm-mm.
You remember last year I wanted him,
Hmm.
but when you are playing with a guy like Rudy Gobert,
Hmm.
how many rebounds you gonna grab?
Right.
You're playing the four, so
Hmm.
Rudy's job is to get the rebounds, and your job is
But I guess he said it too. When he first came in the league, he was a boy. I'm a man now, so he's doing man things.
yeah.
So I got to give him his credit. You know,
So yeah, what do you had? 20 rebounds tonight, 20
20
rebounds.
rebounds. He was 20 and 20.
I mean, what else you want the guy to do?
He's putting in the work. Definitely on that end of it. Can't front on that.
And he's playing good defense.
Yeah, he's great behind the scenes blocker. Those little guards who are getting to the rim, he's making them alter their shot in an effective manner without fouling, which is great. If you get the block, great. If you get them to alter it, they miss, even better. So
He should be a all-star this year.
yeah, I would agree. I would agree.
And Social Brunson.
I would agree. Can let them continue to keep winning, keep doing what they got to do. Those two should be in there. It's funny if OG has not been consistent offensively,
Not at
he's
all.
and I'm not sure what that's about. You know, I know there's a 1-2 factor there, but whether or not it's actually a reality, incapable of being able to do it is another thing. Having spurts of outbursts is great, but you need consistent offensive play on those notes because that yes, the mid range is open all the time, and that's an open field for him. Like there was a play toward the end of the fourth quarter when he was being pressured, taking the ball to the hoop, and I don't think he really had a plan. But the ball just went out of his hand. I don't think it was even he was trying to either pass it or trying to do an okey doke, shot to try to draw the foul. And I'm like, you didn't have a plan on that play. That way of playing concerns me. To me that's a lack of confidence in his ability to be able to get to the hoop and get the basket.
Well, I
But
mean, I don't
mm,
think it's fair to judge him on one play.
no, no, that happened. It was one of those situations where pressure was being put on him,
I understand.
and that's one thing that has been hampering the Knicks is when tough defense is being played against them, they're not as effective. Which that's with any particular ball player. I understand that. Not minimizing that, but it's even more urgent because if they have found a way to be able to get the Knicks out of their passing, no, they only had 20 assists tonight. Which means a couple things. There was a lot of one-on-one play, or they were just missing their shots. But they shot the ball pretty well today. They almost 50% from the field, 40% from three. So they shot the ball pretty well. So a lot of it was one-on-one type plays, which is fine, and that came out of the pressure. And so that aspect of it just concerns me. When pressure is being put on guys outside of Brunson, how are they going to be able to handle that? Are they going to be able to make the tough decision, make the effective play? If you're going to be pressured on the ball, can you get to a spot where you can make a confident pass or even take a confident shot? That's what I want to see them be able to do. And that play there, it showed me that there's little lack of confidence in that type of scenario. Now, whether
That's
he
what I'm
can,
saying. I don't really think it's fair to judge
I'm
on
not, I'm not,
one.
I'm not, I'm not just, it's just telling me in that particular way. That's what it's leaning toward. And that's accumulation of multiple games that I've seen him.
You can flip it and say, I've seen Hart come down about 5 or 6 times and go right at the guy.
I'm not talking about Hart. I'm
I
talking
know,
about
I
OG.
know, I know. No, no, you said the team.
No, no. I said OG.
No, no, no. You said the team you want to
Out.
see. You
No, I
said,
said
wait,
no,
wait,
no,
wait,
no.
wait, hold
Mm-mm,
on now. You said you
mm-mm.
want to
We're gonna
see,
rewind the tape.
yeah, because you said you want to see how the team reacts when when they pressure
Outside of
Brunson.
Brunson.
Right. The
Mm-hmm.
team.
Mm-hmm. And I
So
specifically highlighted OG in
I
that
know you
particular
did,
instance.
but you also said the team. So what I'm trying to tell you,
Okay. Okay.
so
Okay.
what I'm trying
I,
to tell you
let
is
me
that,
let me clarify my point then.
yeah, please.
I'm talking about two specific guys. One, OG, number one. The second one is Bridges. I'm not concerned about Hart or Towns in those scenarios. I've seen Hart do it for the past 2 seasons. That's not a concern of mine. He still make dumb plays, but because he did one in this particular game as well when they were being pressured. When they were down by up by 13, and they was up by 8 with less over just over a minute to play. He made stupid passes. However, I'm less
You
worried about
mean
him. Less,
you mean the pass that flew out of bounds?
yeah.
That slipped out of his hands.
But again, it's out of the pressure.
Well, it slipped out of his hands. We
And but I just said
yeah, see,
I'm less concerned about him
yeah, but that's
versus
not pressure. If a ball slips out of your hand, that's
no.
not
He
pressure.
he was being pressured in that because he was up. Again, he left
Yeah,
his feet.
but if the ball slips out of your hands, that don't mean you froze under pressure. I mean the ball slipped out of your hands. That those
Tomato,
are two
tomato,
different things.
tomato in that instance. I don't think it was the ball slipping out of his hand. I think he tried to look for a pass in the ball. He just didn't. He was fluky. That's what I saw in that play. But my point is in those two guys is their ability during pressure situations to be able to take the pressure and make good decisions in those scenarios and confident decisions. That's my concern. But Hart's going to do what he's going to do. I've learned to live and let go with Hart because he's going to have good plays and he's going to have bad plays because he doesn't, he's going to go for it. And If it's that scenario, okay, I'll deal with that. But if there's uncertainty about it, that's what I'm concerned about with OG and Bridges when it comes to pressure situations like that. So I want to see them progress in that area. We'll see how it plays out because there's certain instances even in the Atlanta game when they started to ramp up the pressure in the second half, they became even less effective. And they were the primary ones. They put up some good numbers, but still they were the primary ones who would find themselves in a bad situation like that. You know, so
You know,
it's just a it, you don't get confident until you go through those stuff. So they have to go through it, and they should be able to learn from it.
you don't think they've been playing basketball long enough to have confidence?
It's different. I'm talking about in certain scenarios. OG has never been the one who's been able to where he's been relied upon offensively to be able to initiate offense or to be able to make a pass, to be one reliant to make a good pass or maybe to make a basket. And when he was in Toronto, that was never his game. He's wanted that. He's talked about that in interviews. He wants to be in that particular role. So that's a want to. Now it's about execution. And part of it, if you don't get opportunity to practice or to be in those types of scenarios where you are now relying to be that guy in that situation, then it's an inexperienced level of it, and then you have to build your confidence to be able to do it in a repeated fashion. If they repeat it, and he's been able to understand, like you said, how he worked in the off season. He repeated the same particular motions every single time throughout the off season, and he perfected certain moves, his 1-2 dribbles. He said that. But in those situations, that's great. But in game situations now, when the person is being put on you, how do you get that level of confidence? And it's the same through repetition. He has to go through that same thing. So I don't. I'm not saying I doubt his ability to be able to get there. It just he has to get there because that's what's going to be put on from when the playoffs come. That type of pressure is going to be put upon him, and he has to be able to overcome that. That's what I want to see. You know. So I love the fact when he played against the Indiana game, he injected his will against that team, and unfortunately he got hurt. So in the Denver game, where he injected his active nature in his play, he got 40-point game, but he hasn't had that level of game since. And for whatever reason, that inconsistency is there. I don't know what the reason is for that. And so I want that to hone down to a certain level where we can really rely upon him in an offensive way to really to let this offensive grow and be more effective.
I think the
Because
inconsistency is there because he's not a great offensive player.
that's possibly it. I don't doubt that. Because and again, part of it is whether it's a skill set or whether or not or a lack of experience in being able to execute those type of ways confidently on the floor. That's another aspect of it. I don't know which one it is. It could be somewhere in the middle. I'm hoping it's not the former.
Skill set,
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not that.
it definitely is. He just he's not a great offensive player. He's good, and
hmm
on a good night he can give you 25 to 30,
hmm
and on a real good night he can give you
hmm
40. But most nights he's going to give you between 9 and 15.
Yeah, I don't want
But
that. I don't want that nine ever to
but
come up.
that's what he's going to give you. But he's
Yeah,
going to
that's
play outstanding defense.
yeah. He's gonna get an effort. I mean, he'd give you multiple effort plays in one possession. Great.
I mean, if he blocks 4 shots and makes 5 shots, I'll take that.
hmm Yeah, that's still 10 points though, right there. That's not nine.
Wow.
I don't ever want to see nine for him. I'm sorry.
Well,
I
what did he
don't.
have tonight?
He probably had like nine.
I don't think he had much more.
He probably had seven. Let me see.
Maybe 12, maybe.
Let me see. What did he have? Oh, he had seven. I was
Yeah,
right. Seven.
7. Okay.
hmm
Yeah, he's not gonna be a big time scorer,
hmm and I don't see. I don't want to come away with the clues that he's going to be a big. I don't want 15 points a game. I would love for him to have that consistently. He hasn't had 15 in the last. Let's see. What was it? His last games. This is his last 5 games. 25, 17, 14, 13, 7.
That's
So
average 15.
so three out of the but it's trending down. That's even worse to me.
That's not trending down, Trevor. Just
No, I'm
because
serious. No, no, I'm just seriously. It is trending down. That's
that's
literally
not
what trending down means. In the last 5 games, I just ran you the numbers. 25, that's his highest. The next game after that was 17. Next game after that, again, reduced to 14. Next game after that, reduced to 13, reduced to 7. That is trending down.
I know that literally that's trending down, but that doesn't mean that next game he can't go back up to 27.
I'm not questioning that. I just said that was a bad sign to look. I didn't even know that existed that he had performed that way. It just a first look at it. That's the funny thing that happened to me
Yeah,
when I saw
but
that.
but if you think about it, they didn't give him that big contract for scoring.
Hmm.
They gave him that big contract for his ability to defend.
Hmm.
And if he can come away with 10, 11, maybe 12 points a game and defend the way he does, I'll take that every time.
So here's an interesting stat.
And if he can score 7 points a game and we win by 10 points at those games that he scores 7 points, I'll take that too.
Mhm. Here's an interesting stat for me. It's just a weird, just looking at the numbers. I'm not saying this is not about the actual how those numbers came about, just the numbers in itself. The first month, he averaged 11 points a game. November, he went off. He averaged almost 20 points a game. It was 19.7. And the first, how many games? This is it's 9 games in December so far. He's averaging 15. So it's he's basically just like the team. The team is trying to find their footing. You know, my hope for this team is that by the end of that March, April timeframe, that this team has really matured as to knowing exactly how they want to get at teams. And when they're great, of course, when they are that high assist game, which is fine, which means they are passing the ball, they're hitting the open shots, and all that's actually happening. And the games like today, like it was going to be very one-on-one oriented, which they can be effective in that way too, which means they can play both ways. The one thing about those types of games is that puts a lot of pressure on you, and it opens yourself up for different types of injuries like they did last year. And we don't want to get worn down in that scenario, which means we need a better bench to be able to supplement them in those types of instances. So hopefully,
Well,
as this team,
getting people back
yeah,
strengthens
yeah,
the bench.
yeah, yeah, this is true. hmm Which is true.
And
That's just my observation. I said last week, um, I don't see this team in the next 20 games, which is this next. He's already had the 5 games so far. The next 15 games, them being solidifying who they are, defining who they are in these next 15 games as well. I think they're going to still go back and forth, inconsistent ways on the court, and they really won't get to that level till they find themselves one, get the personnel back on the team so that they can start maturing as a whole unit, and then going on from there. Right now, I think they're just going to continue to tread water, beat the teams they can are supposed to beat, and play hard, and hopefully play better against the teams that they're equal to. I would say. And come March, we'll see how it plays out. You know, I
who's the
put out there
All-Star break?
February. I put out there 55 games they're going to win. The pace they're going, they're not going to make that 55 win pace. They barely going to make a 50 win pace the way they're going now. You know,
I think they're more concerned with position rather than wins. What I mean by that is I think they don't want to drop beneath the fourth spot.
well they got to win.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
They got to
but
win.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is, I don't think they would care about winning 55, 57, 50, 53, as long as they can win enough games to stay in the fourth spot.
That may all be true, but my 55 win was not based upon them that. It's more so on my how optimistic I felt that this team was going to play more as a cohesive unit, at this stage.
Well, one of the things that I've noticed is that, and I don't know how do you address this, but um, it looks as almost as if they're trying to kill Brunson out there.
You know, that's the head of the snake, man. That's the head of the snake. You
But
knock him off.
but come on, man,
Mm-hmm.
they like,
Mm-hmm.
and he handles it so well because
Mm-hmm.
I know he wants to punch somebody in the face.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like he has to be getting mad,
Mm-hmm.
but I really believe that you know, that they're beating this man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. And
Yeah.
Towns took a beating today too.
They did. They were pack a shack almost on him.
And knocking him down and
Mm-hmm.
stepping on him and rolling
Mm-hmm.
all over him, and
Mm-hmm.
but he did his thing.
Yeah, he did. I was shocked. I'm like, when in the fourth quarter, when the last foul that he got when he was on the floor, I'm like, it looked very Mitchell Robinson-esque.
It
Him
sure
getting hit,
did.
going to the ground. I'm like, oh, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that man going to the ground.
I mean, they took a beating today.
Hmm.
You know, it was like, but my man Hart, he likes those type of games.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does.
You know,
Definitely.
he like the Hulk. The madder he get, the stronger he get.
Hmm. 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 But I still, of course, love my team. You know, they're always gonna be that gritty. The grittiness is they're moving toward understanding what that grittiness means for this team. You know, I have an expectation that this team was going to be the same team that was at the end of last year. No, this is a whole new team. They have to learn how to be a unit, and you know they're going to do that. They got to go through their ups and downs,
I
which
am
is
glad of one thing though.
hmm
I really am glad that he stopped playing um
Sims.
Sims. Yeah,
Mhm.
unbelievable. He is such a scrub. I thought I I thought No J was a scrub,
Hey, you saw what your boy did to to the Knicks.
but we won.
There you go. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
He can have as
I
much
don't care
30
if we
games as he
score
want.
100. If we score 101, we good.
Yeah, man, that was
But I look at Sims. I'm like, he hasn't improved offensively not one bit.
mm, yeah. He's for whatever reason, that's not part of his MO on this team, buddy. For
Yeah,
whatever reason.
if you want to play, you got to be able to put basket in the ball in the basket a little bit.
Hmm.
I mean, like what's his name? OG. I mean, 7 points, man. Come on, that's good.
In your book.
Hey, it's better than Sims zeros.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Fine, but
I mean, do I want 7? No, I want 15 and 20, but hey,
hmm
I'll take it.
hmm
I just look at this guy, man. You don't see no offensive.
that part I don't like at all. You know.
Like, dude,
Yeah, don't like that at
man.
all.
I was watching Isaiah Thomas. He was working on this show on the NBA show,
Hmm.
and him and Dennis Scott was on there, and commentator.
Hmm.
So they asked him about ability in the NBA, and he said, "Oh well," he said, "There's no scrubs in the NBA." And I said, "What's wrong with?" I
Yeah, I think
said,
y'all two need to have a
I
conversation on
said, "Zeke,
that
are you
one.
okay?"
You on the other spectrum of that one.
I said, "Zeke." He said, "No." He said, "There's no scrubs in the NBA." He said, "Everybody in the NBA, they are good basketball players." I said, "Zeke, really?" I said, come on, man. I was like, oh, I said, no, they're not. You do have one or two scrubs.
Hmm.
Um, and the Knicks had one of them, and they had others.
Well, I'm glad to have you back with your scrubisms.
I'm like, but you know what's funny? Dennis Scott went like this when he said that. Dennis Scott was like,
You know, you had to big up the league, you know.
like, really? Is it?
Hmm.
They no scrubs in there?
Hmm.
What?
Hmm.
Come on, man.
So we got two games for this week coming up. They don't play again until Thursday against Minnesota in Minnesota,
That's a
which is
law.
I would agree there. It's going to be, although I would love a win in that scenario because I don't I'm not a big fan of um Edwards. Um and I'm not a big never was a big fan of Julius.
Oh God.
So I still of course I always love Dante, but he's not even playing right. Woof.
I
Dante
think
is like he's like I don't even want to be here.
I think he's coming back to the Knicks.
I think he's finding a way back home. Crazy. Um and then they play on Saturday, they play against New Orleans. Which so I think in this stretch here, they're gonna go 1-1. I think so.
Yeah, 1-1.
Hmm.
I mean, New Orleans won't have nobody because everybody's hurt.
Yeah, yeah,
Even the fat boy is hurt.
yeah. Just another disappointment. I don't understand that one. Oof. Do not understand that.
I understand it. Dunkin' Donuts. If you eat 12 donuts a day and then you expect to be in basketball shape,
So if he eats 11, he's better.
yeah, 11 is better. You you can't, you know, you got to be in shape to play basketball professionally, bro. I mean,
Well,
sorry.
funny. I was watching. To your point, I was watching an interview with Mark Jackson and Kenny Smith on the Mark Jackson show, and they were talking about their approaches to the NBA and how Kenny was the eat right, get the best most sleep, make sure that he stretches, he
No
gets the,
girls.
no craziness
Hmm.
throughout his 10 year, well, I think it was a 12-year career I think he had.
Something like that.
Mark Jackson didn't do any of that and played 17 years. He is like, how in the world did you not even just that? You don't want to eating burgers, fries, candy, and milkshakes before a game.
But look how slow Mark was. Mark was not running anybody either, was he?
17 years. I said, hey, I
Mark,
can't explain that.
Mark was the greatest point guard I ever seen that run a slow break.
And it's funny you recall his time at St. John's and you watch him on the break with Walter Berry and everybody. And he even in limited minutes he played with Chris Mullin. And then the year after that when he was by himself, so it was pretty interesting watching Mark play.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I
Mm-hmm.
love Mark Jackson.
Hmm.
Don't get me
Hmm.
wrong.
Hmm.
He is probably my,
Hmm.
I would say after Walt Frazier, he's probably my most favorite Nick.
Really?
Yeah, I really like
Mm.
Mark Jackson. I
Wow.
really did. But
Oh,
I
we got
love
we, we got
Walt.
we got to talk about that one. We got to talk about that.
I mean, Bernard King was cool and Melo was cool.
You be surprised who mine was.
Um, Probably one of the backcourt guys, Sugar
It
or
was Sugar. It was Sugar.
yeah, I can
It
see
was
that.
Sugar. It was Sugar.
Yeah, but I mean, definitely. But
Hmm.
I really like Mark Jackson. I guess I
Hmm.
liked him because he was from St. John. He's from New York, from
Yeah,
Queens.
that
Yeah.
that that them all
That's
all
probably
that's
why. That's
Yeah.
probably why I liked him.
Mm-hmm.
Hollis. I think
Mm-hmm.
Hollis.
Yeah, he wasn't from Hollis.
Maybe Laurelton. Well, he was from
Um,
Queens for
he's
sure.
from Queens, yeah. He's from
You
Queens.
know, so I really liked him.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I was a big Walt Frazier fan.
Mm-hmm.
Walt,
Mm-hmm.
I remember Walt did the Pumas, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had him.
And
Mm-hmm.
I remember that they cost $17.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked my father for a pair of Pumas, and my father said, $17 for a pair of sneakers? Are you crazy? I said, but Dad, Walt Frazier's name is, I don't care
Mm-hmm.
who name is on it. Walt who? $17. Now a
Mm-hmm.
pair of Pumas probably cost $117.
Mm-hmm. Probably so. I had
But
the blue and white pair. Mm-hmm.
he has to pay that. He got them for me, but he was complaining.
Mm-hmm.
He was complaining. I had to ask my mother, come on, Mom, could you ask him to get the sneakers?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. But it's funny. I never saw Clyde play with the Knicks,
Oh, I did.
you know. I didn't start watching, basketball until like 78.
That was on
So he,
Channel 9 too.
yeah, and he was already off the Knicks at the time. I was a Ray Williams guy. And then Sugar came in 80, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah, but I saw him
Hmm.
play with the Knicks.
I
Yeah,
just knew Clyde. My
Walt
pops
Frazier.
talked about him, my cousin talked about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Pumas was $17.
Mm-hmm.
17 bucks? Are you crazy?
Mm-mm-mm. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you said two, 1-1, right?
Yeah, 1-1.
I'm gonna say
Mm-hmm.
the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I wonder will Robinson come back by January 1st?
Nah, I don't think he's gonna be back by then. Don't think so.
You think he come back after the All-Star break?
Mm-hmm. I think closer to that time frame.
He
Yeah,
said
Sugar played in 78. Yep, 78. Yeah, 78. That's when he started playing with the Knicks.
Sugar Ray. Sugar
That's when I
Ray.
start. That's when I was, started watching my Knicks.
Sugar Ray.
Mm-hmm.
He was good, that's for sure.
Oh yeah,
Him and Michael in the backcourt there.
Ray Williams. Yeah.
Mike was it Michael Ray Williams? Was Michael
It's
Ray
right.
Williams'
Michael
name?
Ray Richardson and Ray
Michael Ray
Williams.
Richardson. Michael Ray
Mm-hmm.
Richardson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And Ray Williams. hmm
Yeah, yeah.
That
They were.
backcourt was serious, man.
Oh, now you talking about a lockdown defense?
Mm-hmm.
Them guys. That was a lockdown defense.
Mm-hmm.
You know who I also liked a lot too?
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't on Knicks that long, but for his short time here, he was really very productive, and I really liked him. Ron Hop, not Ron Hopper. Just drew a blank. Bald head guy. Oh God, I can't think of his name now.
Rory Sparrow.
No, no. Oh, can't think of his name now.
What year?
Oh,
70s, 80s, 90s?
it was in the ninth because he played with Ewing. Um, Derek Harper.
Oh, Derek Harper. Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. You said bald head. I
I
don't
liked
remember
him. I
Harper having
liked
a
him.
bald head. He has a bald head now, but yeah. His defense was very Sidney Moncrief type.
Yeah, very
hmm
very long
hmm
arm,
hmm Can
very
can hold you off.
yeah, yeah,
Hands always in the passing lane. Can easily rip the
yeah.
ball from you. Yeah.
I
hmm
liked him though.
No, I was a fan of Derek Harper. When he came here,
He came
even when
from
he was even
Dallas, right?
he came even was in Dallas. I
Yeah,
liked his game in Dallas. He gave you know some troubles to the Lakers at that point in time, but they couldn't overcome them. But
yeah,
yeah, thanks for going back in memory lane on that one. I was on the where was you going with that one?
yeah. But I
Yeah.
liked him though. Derek Harper.
hmm But it's funny, my because from a pure point guard standpoint, he was never really an offensive juggernaut. But Mo Cheeks was a pure
Oh,
point guard.
definitely.
Yeah, pure point guard.
Yeah. And I really believe that he has helped Brunson
Brunson.
a lot. Oh, by the way, you see Brunson's um assists has come up a lot too, right?
Yeah, they have. They have. Definitely give him credit for that. Definitely give him credit for that. I'm liking that aspect of his game. He needs to stay above that 8 assist mark. You know, you continue to do that, that team will be better for it.
Oh, by
Stay
the
up.
way, by the way, I heard another great line the other day.
Hmm.
Somebody, I think Walt Frazier said it.
Hmm.
He said, if Charlie Ward was in New York now, he'd be the best quarterback in New York.
I believe that. I believe that. He was an
I,
underrated quarterback, man.
I
I don't know
said,
why
Clyde, I said, that's kind
NFL
of
did him
terrible.
that dirty, man. They did him dirty.
I said that Clyde, that's terrible, Clyde.
Hmm.
He'd be the
So,
best quarterback in New York.
so right now he's averaging, he's at his highest mark for assists for his career.
7.9, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. He's at 7.8 right now overall. Tonight he had like 5 assists, which is kind of, I don't like low assists for him. I want it up, but 8 is that mark. Continue to get there. I mean, that's when you think of point guards over the era, the greatest ones have been hit that mark and above, So that's my marker, you know. I mean, when you hear Stephon for his first, was it almost 10 seasons in the league, he was a 20-8 guy. No one had done that since the big O, so that's a mark.
Who was he
You know?
passing to though?
Doesn't matter. He still got 8
No, no,
assists.
but was he passing? No, it does matter.
It does not. I said first 10 years. He didn't play with Kevin Garnett the first 10 years of his
No, no,
career.
but what I'm saying is that
Hmm.
if you pass into a bunch of scrubs, like
So the same thing would apply to the Big O. He wasn't playing with a great team in that time. They didn't want, they didn't win till they got
he
Kareem.
had Kareem for some of that.
No, Kareem was a rookie.
I said some of that.
So I said the first 10 years, buddy. So he didn't have great teams. That team he had when Marbury was in New Jersey was nowhere near a great
I'm
team.
talking about Big O.
I'm talking about the different teams he had as well from a Stephon Marbury standpoint. Even the time when he was at the Knicks, he didn't have a great team. He still averaged 20-8. That's my point. He still was able to be effective on the court. Whether it materialized into wins, it's a whole different story.
It does matter who you're throwing the ball to, though, because
8 assists is 8 assists. It means you putting your players in position to get to the basket and score, put the point in the ball. If your point guard is penetrating, if you even if you got Dalton from old Georgetown, he's going to be able to put the ball in the hoop if he gets to him in the right position. That's what Stephon Marbury was able to do.
do you think you're trying to tell me that Stephon Marbury was better than Jalen Brunson?
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is I like that level of point guard play, that marker, 8 assists a game. Get to that point, we in a better position as a team. That's what I'm saying.
I think
Stephon had his flaws overall, but that was what wasn't one of his flaws.
I think it really does matter though who you playing with.
I don't think so. Not from a
Yeah,
point guard
yeah.
standpoint.
You try passing the ball to Grimes and No J, and see how many assists you get.
So you're saying I don't know the number of how many assists that he's there's all where his assists are coming from to who, right?
His most, I mean, nowadays,
Nowadays, if it's all
most of his
Towns,
assists, most of his assists are going to Towns.
if it's Towns
Most.
or if it's really spread out. I don't. There's a
No,
there's a there's a
I'm
there's a
I'm not talking about spreading it out.
no no
I'm
no. I'm
I'm
I'm I'm
saying
I'm
most of his assists are going to Towns. So
I don't
let's
I
say
don't disagree. I
so
probably don't
let's say if
disagree
he
with that.
has let's say if he has 10 assists, I would say six of them are are the um pick and roll with
to Towns.
Towns.
Okay. I don't have that number. I know there's a site that has that level of detail of per assist a game and to whom, and the probability of assists, meaning that you were you got the ball to the player and they missed a shot, which will ultimately, if they made it, would have been an assist.
Right.
They have that stat too. I just don't remember the site
Now
name
he
for
probably did the league in that when he was playing with Grimes and
that.
Grimes and No J.
But that's that analytic there definitely does exist. I definitely want to find that one. So we'll see if I can get that for next week. But I'm gonna leave it at there, buddy. Great conversation. 1-1 for this week.
Derek Harper. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know how I said Ron Harper. I'm thinking about Chicago.
Yeah, you probably was Ron Artest is what you was thinking of because he was a Nick
Actually,
named
no,
Ron.
no. Meta World Peace, not Ron Artest. Get it right.
I'm sorry, he's Ron Harper. He's from Queens, left Rex. I mean, Queensbridge Projects should have been a Nick, but they should have drafted him back in '99. Anyway, that's a whole nother story.
Even
All
he
right.
said that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. All right, buddy. Catch you next week. Harlem to MSG. Signing off, buddy.